trust between us. And if the blade is lost again, then you may need to seek the same sources as I. The lower planes have watched since evil existed, and since before Gith led her rebellion against the Mind Flayers. And when Gith had achieved victory, it is known she went to the lower planes to seek allies, and did not return. Yes, and one such set of eyes, a Beatazu prince known as the Still Lord, sees much indeed. He lies imprisoned in the lower planes, and he can do little more than watch from his cage. And so I sought him, and he was able to reveal to me the location of the blade. There was a price, yes, but it was a price I was willing to pay, and it was little more than I had already paid for the service of my other infernal allies. In fact, it is through the Still Lord that I gained the allegiance of Mephazum. For while the Still Lord may not move freely, Mephazum may. Perhaps. But defeating the King of Shadows was my goal, and I needed the blade. But that is all. With that knowledge, I was able to find the blade and carry on the war. No, Gith and her blade had become separated. Gith's fate remains a mystery to me, and I did not ask the Still Lord where she walks now. No doubt. Disdain. I hardly consider her worthy of emotion at all. She is a blind follower, an adherent of her own people's history. There is blindness in such things. Indeed, such a noble view. But she is but one. What of her people? Where are they against this threat? We need allies who understand our enemy, yet her people do nothing. The people of Farron are ignorant of the King of Shadows, yes, but her people are not. And neither do I. A question she could ask, perhaps, before we all lie dead at the King of Shadows' hands. No doubt.
So what does the great captain of Crossroad Keep want with his humble tracker? Something you want hunted down, my lord, or some forsaken path scouted? Mockery? There's no mockery. I'm just addressing you by your new title, as a lapdog for Nasher. Is that how you want to spend the rest of your days? With a squire by your side, a painted shield, and some pathetic code of honor to keep your back stiff as a board? No, maybe not. But it's hard to tell past the words sometimes, and that makes me a little suspicious. You treat me like one of your lackeys, you'll regret it. And God's help you if you try and order me around. I'm my own man. Got it? Now, is that all? Or did you have some orders for me? All that goes on between a man and a woman. What do you think? I'm no noble to cloak it all up in pretty words and painted shields. After a while, though, you start to see the person, and if you don't respect them, then you leave. Simple as that. If I lose respect in you, you better believe it. Go ahead, but don't expect any answers.
Yes? There was a time I dwelled amongst the towers of Luskin, yes? For anyone interested in arcane knowledge, the Masters of the Towers have an impressive collection of artifacts. But simply being in their employ is not enough, and the things requested can even make the greatest of artifacts pale by comparison. And one day I simply could not continue to do what I did. The smallest refusal, and one is marked for death. So I came here. Sought protection in Neverwinter. I moved my shop down here in the docks in the hopes of avoiding notice. Garius, yes, ambitious, driven. Yet, I find it strange he would be Luskin's ally in this. Luskin seems so short-sighted, and Garius's horizon is broad indeed, and he was never one to put the city's concerns first, nor were any of the mages of the host tower. Very well, what answers do you seek? Well, I am not one to speak badly of the dead, but Dalryn most likely deserved whatever death he had coming, and deserves to be buried in the betrayer's graveyard. It was a wonder that he wasn't exiled during the war with Luskin for his questionable involvement with weapon shipments, but the matter was not brought to light. Yet somehow, Nasher ended up getting a deed to his lands, a tithe against future levies, and a full company of additional soldiers. Times were difficult, and it was a necessary oversight on Nasher's part, but Dalryn never deserved to live past the war with Luskin. I doubt any murder is truly just, but did he deserve to be tried and executed? Oh, yes. Very well. What answers do you seek? It seems Lord Dalryn was murdered, and the rumors suggest a wizard was involved. I doubt Dalryn could have done much except try to tax the assailant to death.
Is there something you need? Together we may act to uncover what threatens the... Let us work together in this, as there is much we may do where alone. I can hear footfall, and we are too. Also, whatever is what did you wish to know? The mare is no longer a place, all it touched, and without life.
Great! What's wrong now? Why? Like you care? If I didn't almost burn down your uncle's dumb establishment...
Some way I can help?
What's going on?
What is your will? I will hear you. The translation is a crude one, but it is shard bearer. It is not a word, it is a title. They call you the shard bearer, this Kalak Cha, because you carry a piece of Gith's blade within you, near the heart, and you have always borne it close to you. I will hear you. That is not unknown to me, nor is it a surprise. A Githzerai is one of the people. Know that many lifetimes would go by before I recited but one of the annals of our people. If it is your will that you would know more, narrow your question, and I shall answer. A Zerth is one who speaks the word of Zerthamon. A Zerth protects the community from threats to the body or mind. A Zerth focuses the wills of others by using the knowing of our people's history and beliefs to remove doubt and heal one's will through the words of Zerthamon. That title would apply, yes. But while we hold the words of Zerthamon to be of importance, we do not worship him as your people do the gods of this plane. Doubt is the doorway through which attackers will come. Not just beasts, such as the Illithids, but other predators. Doubt is how our people were once lost, and it is an emotion that is deadly on our home plane. The plane of limbo, where we have made our home, is a plane of chaos, an unsculpted sea of matter. Matter that cannot be shaped by tool or hand, but only takes form through one's thought. Many minds united may create citadels no enemy may breach. But if one doubts, then the walls that surround our communities will be as nothing. Yes, And that is why focus is important. No one wishes the tragedy of Shraket to be visited upon our people again. The words of Zerthamon provide this focus, and it is the purpose of Azurth to pass along his knowledge to our people. Zerthamon founded our race. He knew the Githzerai before they knew themselves. When our people were in danger of losing their wills to the way of the Illithids a second time, he was the one who centered us and met Gith's treachery with his own blade. What I am to tell you is known to both our people and the people who followed Gith. It was upon the blade of Gith we were divided. The rift between our people was made upon the blasted plains of Sargassa's End. It was shortly after we had broken the will of the Illithids to fight. We were free, yet it was not enough. For Gith, who had come to know herself through war, defeating the Illithids was not enough. She sought to wipe them out. And when she had cleansed them from the plains, she would bring the fires of war to all other races, all other beings across the plains. In her heart was the death of our people. A crusade which would turn our hearts to the hearts of Illithids. We would become those who enslaved us, in our wills, where it could never be unmade. One spoke against her will, Zerthamon. As the green fires died on the battlefield of Sargassa's End, he met her words with his. When she commanded that he follow her to war, he told her there could not be two skies. In the wake of his words, one people became two. In the wake of his words came war. Yes, from the pronouncement of two skies, our people became two. There were those who followed Gith's hatred and became the Githyanki, and those who followed Zerthamon and became the Githzerai. It is a rift that will never be sealed with blood or spell, and it will never be over until one race has cleansed the other from the plains. You misunderstand me. I tell you our history, and I need you to know it. You carry the history of our people within you, and as long as you do, you must recognize the power of what you hold. While you must learn to know yourself, you must also know that you will be called upon to make choices. Terrible choices. But you must believe it serves something greater, as Zerthamon did. It is easy to doubt and let it stall your blade and your footsteps. And it is easy to become blinded by that which you seek to overthrow. Do not let Gith's path become yours. Her sword cost our people many lives, but in your hands, it might save an equal number. Then all I ask is that you have heard me. I will hear you. These shards, they are pieces of the blade of Gith. This blade was believed lost. Now it has been found in you. This you know. Each shard contains a resonance within it, a power that you can unlock to strengthen your will. With the ritual of purification, know that these two things may be enough to defeat the King of Shadows. When we have gathered enough, the knowing of healing the blade shall come soon after, and it will require great courage from you. I will hear you. Know that the path that led to me being chained is a twisted one, and the citadel that is now yours, Crossroad Keep, was not my destination. I journeyed to your plane to see the actions of the Githyanki with my own eyes. This plane, this Pharaon, is often in their thoughts and in their speech. I will hear you. And by doing so, what would that prove to both of us, Kalakcha? That I am no different than the Githyanki that hound you? That I am careless of life like the Illithids? Know that that is not my will. Know that there are greater truths and strengths than what seems the quickest way. That is the way of the people of Gith, not the way of my people. Such acts fall in circles upon themselves, and what would seem a victory would only be our undoing. I believe there is a reason the shard lies in your heart, and not in the hands of the Githyanki, Kalakcha. And I will see that reason come to pass with my own eyes. I will hear you.